And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome! You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say. Hey there, Leo. Welcome to Coin Plays Tarot. My name is Coin. I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. We're looking at, in this round of reads, it's going to be your career read for the month of December. Career read is in, the partnerships we want to make, deals we want to cut, things we want to sign up the dotted line for, what ventures come from the labor and efforts that we put in. So as a preamble to the read, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse. At times, even when it gets difficult, understand that I, as your tarot card reader, I'm not here to misguide you, mislead you, try to conjure miracles where I don't see any, right? At my table, we talk about the good and the bad, rain and sunshine, right? So follow along with me in your read today, Leo, your career read for the month of December. And yeah, let's see what the cards say. We're going to start over here in the time-based orientation, first with your past. Show us the cards we need to see, please, in this career read for Leo. What defines the past orientation? That of what was. Show us the cards we need to see, please, for Leo in this read. Upon your pass. Okay, Temperance, card Sagittarius. May everything come to fruition and heal with time. The options only become available when I'm actually able to sit down with it, absorb it little by little, but more so allow the process to work as it should. Why so? Page of Wands. The base level optimism. That's a lot to go from Temperance to the Page, though. The Magician. Okay. What do we have to teach ourselves? Pass. Just putting that all together because we got a lot of fire and then boom, the spark of initiation. What I'm looking at in your past, Leo, you had to believe that it could work, right? May all my hopes actually be worth something, right? A lot of self-doubt here, but more so an undying optimism that, you know what, if I had just a little bit of faith and did what I needed to do, boom, I can make it happen. And in some way, shape, or form, you did. The Magician doesn't come out unless there's a spark of activation. Right. So maybe it might have been lessening or dampening your own fire, your own shine. Ultimately, it spells out the same conclusion. Let's look in the present tense. What about down the middle? What of the here and now? Show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Leo upon this read. What of the right now? Nine of Swords. Okay, I like that. Because we turn, our own scarcity model and then trying to, force ourselves into optimism, this hard nudge just to change our own perspective and outlook. Now we're taking action. Why the Nine of Swords? Star, the card of Aquarius. What did we learn about hope? Two of Wands, that we can make it for ourselves. There we go. I like that. Here's why. If in the past, right, and I've seen this as not only resembling this time frame that we're working with, right, Leo, is that Temperance represents Sagittarius, at least from the zodiac perspective, and this is being recorded at a time of Sagittarius. Could have happened even last year, could have happened even recently. That's not the point. The point is we had to fundamentally change our within to affect our outside. That much I can tell you to be functionally true. We go over here in your present. The Nine of Swords at two of Wands, the two minor arcana coupling the Star, the major arcana. Nine of Swords. This one's represented by a person on a bike with a short sword. Very dangerous because if you fall, somebody's getting cut bad. But it shows the intentionality to strike clean, strike swiftly, and strike with intent. Right? We are not wavering. We're not budging. We're gonna go do. This is then framed by the Two of Wands, a fire that's still ignited. But here, whereas earlier it was just a Page of Wands, then maybe, okay, my own ember or my own fire starts to grow with the Ace of Wands. Two of Wands here. We have a game plan. the number one lesson I had to learn is not simply wanting for things to change in the abstract, but doing that for myself in a fungible and tangible kind of way. And that's where the star comes in. Hope is made actively from a career standpoint when we go out and do. It is not worth us debating everything. We get stuck in the notion of debate, will never self-actualize. So what I'm seeing for you very recently, Leo, is that the biggest lesson you had to remind yourself is doing things. Sometimes it is that simple. In the future orientation, show us the what could be. Show us the cards we need to see, please, for Leo in this read. What is important? Oh, they tried to pop out, but didn't land on the table, so I can't take. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Leo upon this read. What happens in the future orientation? Okay. King of Cups. There. Okay. I want you to give yourself some credit, Leo. King of Cups, knowing how to properly and responsibly hold both my hope and demeanor with equal footing, right? The King of Cups presents the best of themselves after he's weighed out the options, after he's given clarity and merit towards what deserves his time and space. But the King of Cups in your career read here being, okay, I had these debates before. I'm trying to understand where I stand now after I take action upon them, right? What bothers me about them, what's worth keeping, what's worth not giving any more energy to. Ace of Cups, of fulfillment of the self. And so I think that's very interesting that the Ace of Cups comes right after the King, because the King wields the element, right? The face royalty cards wield the primary element. Here, water being wielded by the King of Water. In this way, Leo, your future orientation saying, yeah, my fulfillment is just a reminder that it can happen. Sometimes it is simple, and sometimes I make it harder than it has to be. Seven of Cups, even more water, but even more fulfillment. And now that I've proven that one cup can be filled, what does it mean when we actually have multiple fulfilled? What does it mean when I make my own dreams, my own aspirations come to fruition, and not just say it's something beyond me anymore? Underneath it all, Five of Wands, external conflicts. And so having that in your underneath, if we add this, even this basic timeline together, Leo, our biggest lesson that we're trying to comprehend right now is not simply the feeling of blockade of where we stand or how we're going to process things, but rather the unnecessary battles we're making within ourselves that some of the people that we may even idolize not even feel at all. But even if they did feel it, that doesn't matter for my life. What am I going to do with the situation as it's presented to me? The best thing I can do is act upon it, because I won't know until I get there. I'll only get there if I try. Okay, fair enough. Show us the in-between spaces between all these time orientations and Leo's read. First, we look between the past and the present. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Leo in this read today. What rests between the what was and what is? Queen of Pentacles. How do we maximize opportunity when something actually does work out right? Star, card of Aquarius. And I'm going to hold off on what I say. Yep, it sounds about right. Magician. Very interesting how it flows naturally. Queen of Pentacles didn't come out earlier, but then again, you weren't comfortable enough to wield her, right? So we went from a fire, a burning intentionality, a desire to say, things got to work out, things got to change, I got to do something with this. And eventually we turned it into action. I like that for you, Leo. Now, between the past and the present, okay, if I can do this one thing, I can do it very efficiently and very right. I'm very much the right person for it. It moves into, okay, what other hopes and dreams and aspirations do I desire to manifest? If I've done one thing correctly, I can do more things right. And that's how we got, again, that hard star coming out and saying, hey, this is what hope actually looks like. It isn't just the debate, it's the doing. How do we move into tangible action here? We use the magician, the power of manifestation, and say, well, if not me, then who? And if not now, then when? We are pushing ourselves now to say it is more important to act upon these thoughts, these intentionalities, because it doesn't serve me any good to have them and then beat myself up for just having them. I gotta do something with it, and that something is action. Next, between the present and future, show us cards that we need to see, please, for Leo in this reading. What happens between the what is and the what could be? Show us the cards that we need to see, please, in the space at rest between for Leo in this read today. King of Wands. Okay. Understandable. Try and do the right thing consistently, but also build an everlasting hope from it. Five of Pentacles. That's naturally going to come out. And the Four of Pentacles. Okay. Got it. So these things are fighting each other. Let me explain. And underneath it all, Six of Pentacles, 4, 5, 6, but we'll get to that in a second because I think that's a very unique placement, being that it's a progression outside of this triad. King of Wands. The King of Wands does the best with what he's got, right? We understand our intentionality. We don't back down. We don't hesitate. If not hesitating, then over-contemplate nearly as much as we are being propositioned to, right, Leo? We're saying, hey, the best of what I can do, here's what we got. And I don't need to be ashamed of it. I don't need to back down from it. Five of Pentacles, the notion of poverty or just being left out, left outside. Here, what happens if it doesn't come true? I'm still here. What happens if it does come true? I'm still here. The answer does not functionally change. What it does is that when we are presented with the notion of failure, we get more opportunity to try it better next time. And so the Four of Pentacles coming out, what we hold on to, what is worthy of a good and right investment, is not really, some things will be blatantly bad and wrong and you'll learn from them, but it's better to understand that the only wrong investment is the one we make out of fear. And that's why, again, in your future, representing such emotional fulfillment, you're not afraid of mistakes. Once we can try, once we can do the right investments, we'll only learn by doing the wrong ones sometimes. And so that Six of Pentacles coming out, the long term, what's our game plan? What's our strategy? How do we put the little but best of ourselves into it every single day to push things forward? And I think that's more accurate, that's more involved than just saying it happens to us. Because we were in a space before where things were just happening and we're like, okay, what are we going to do with that? Now we're saying, well, win, lose, or draw, here's $5 more. Win, lose, or draw, the pay-per-view band's getting full, and let's see what we can do today. It's about staying consistent. And I'm seeing that for you, Leo, as, well, maybe consistency can teach me to move beyond fear, because even if a failure does come my way and cause havoc or chaos, I can still sit comfortably with myself and say, yeah, I anticipated it, here's $5 more, right? You see how unfazed that is? That's more of the attitude that you're going to have when we can approach something that has a possibility of failure with a mindset of success. Two completely different attitudes. Yeah. First, define the major arcana strewn across the table in this read. My eyes are being drawn to the Magician. We will start here with the Magician. What was important of that manifestation from the past tense in Leo's read today? Show us the cards that we need to see, please. What defines the Magician in Leo's career read? We will start here. To the Magician, Ace of Cups, because it's gotta be better. I know there's more possibility out there for myself, but I have to push myself into a state of activation of doing something about it. Next, to Temperance, Four of Cups. And so all my disappointment, all the culminations of everything I fear could go wrong, they will eventually get better with time. Things don't get better unless I make them. I need to make a pathway so that it actually can work itself out. Next, to the Star, Page of Swords. Observe how hope comes out. And sometimes people can get stuck in a state of observance, but I don't see that for you at all, Leo. What I see is you're actually paying honor and tribute to the observance of hope because you're reminding that it actually exists still. I feel that you've purposely kind of let that go because it was like an illusion of protection, right? When we say we had no hope, we can kind of lull ourselves into the belief that we had no fear because we see this as coinciding counterparts. Whereas to say we had no hope just means that we're not really doing anything at all. And the opposite of both isn't each other necessarily in that situation. It's numbness. It's I'm not pursuing anything, good, bad, otherwise, because I thought I could defend myself from my fears. And in fact, I just put myself in a position where I'm further behind and no better for wear. Next to the star down here, Nine of Wands. And so, how bad do we want it? The efforts that we put in, what we get out, it'll only prove itself when we try. What does trying look like? To the Magician, again, the Hierophant, the card of Taurus. Here, being consistent, doing it by the book, and even more so, believing that my calling is rightfully mine and mine alone. I don't need external validation. I need internal drive. I need to be able to push myself and say, hey, are we really about it, or are we just letting this slide? Give me a crossing pattern. The King of Pentacles, biggest thing learned here, what about right investments? Two of Swords. Yeah, it's not always going to be easy. The answer oftentimes is not completely simple in its execution. Well, it's not completely simple in its final equation, but the best way to get there is execution, right? The best way to get there is to go through with a plan. And sometimes we get the problem right, and other times you got to go back to the drawing board. But the best thing that you remember, at least for this entire experience, Leo, is that I won't be able to solve anything if I can't solve the little things. Let me do what I can with what I got, and we'll see where we go. In resolution, real cards resolution for Leo in their read. Show us cards resolution for Leo upon this read today. Let's tell us space of resolution for Leo in today's read. That almost fell out. And the resolution, behold, the Moon, card of Pisces. Actually, I think that is very good for where you are currently, Leo. Because again, we're moving out of the realm of the unknown and what causes to be kind of apathetic to a presence of it's about action. The Moon coming out here, ultimately, whether we do or do not know it, it represents the unknown, right? The variables we may not have even accounted for, the things that we just don't know yet, and cover basically a shadow area that we haven't yet touched. The Moon here is very good because of how I'm reading it, Leo. The entire lesson here was to remember you don't have to be perfect, you just got to be. Page of Wands, the notion of optimism. Here, yeah, I think it ties to that page of Wands you pulled out in the beginning that, well, what do we got? What can possibly go wrong from here? Because if we keep on operating from a space of fear, that's all we're going to get out of it. And I don't want you to give up because it's such heavy aspiration and intentionality for what you're aiming for. The Page of Wands simply saying, don't forget the little things. There's a reason why you're here. Keep pushing, keep going, even when it feels like you're very dim and very low on the hope fuel. Underneath it all, Justice, card of Libra. And here, accepting all aspects of the process, when everything ultimately weighs itself out in the end, understand that it might not have always worked out in the way I exactly envisioned it, but did it work out? Absolutely. And so here's what I see in your read today, Leo. We went from a state of fear about pursuing a goal, passion, or dream project to, okay, I can sit on this forever and let it rot and just let it fester, or I could do something about it. Then we moved into a state of activation where, oh, this is actually kind of easier than I thought because I did put enough effort into it. Well, what does expansion of this look like? And then once we get that right, we can sit with ourselves and say, it didn't have to be perfect. It just had to be. And sometimes when we put our best efforts in, we'll get a surprising amount out. It may not be exactly what we thought it was, but it definitely sure is better than where we were. So that's all I got in your read today, Leo. Hope this conversation helped. And yeah, as you move into your activation period, you move steadily into, building that confidence up, learning the tricks of the trade, what works, what doesn't. We're also going to be more confident to say, yeah, I'm here. It doesn't got to be perfect. It just has to be. I'll see you around, okay? Take care.